Alright, so this is going to be a video of my 2006 Wrangler LJ. Yes, I know I have shit in my backyard. We'll start on the inside. This is going to be an update video. So, first thing I did, it hasn't been running in like 2 months. So I got a whole bunch of stuff piled in here. But one of the first things that I had to do was I put Corbos in it. Put a harness bar in it. This is from Rock Hard 4x. And there's the Corbo tag. They are Corbo 5-point harness. So, I got the adapters for this, and I was actually looking through my tint on my window. So I had to pull the seats out and drill and modify my original mounts, and actually worked really well. I have a tab down here that you pull, and the seat slides forward, and this is the where they mount for that. This is where the side harnesses mount, so it's through the original seat there, through the bracket. That's a grade 8 bolt. And then there's my inverter that I have in here. And this is my winch control. Pull this out, and that's for my throttle control. Pull it out again. It lights up both lights, and that's my winch control. This is my throttle control here. So this is faster, slower. And this is my in and out for the winch. I have a light here. There's my outlet for 120 up on the dash. This turns on my inverter, turns it off. These are for the lower lights. These are for my side lights. And yes, the Corbo seats are heated. I have seat heaters. I have a Sony Bluetooth radio. I have a LED strip light here to illuminate these switches. These are for my upper aircraft landing lights. These are for my door lights, which I'll show you. These are for my backup lights. I have a CB right here. I have a PA and alarm system because I do a lot of stuff with the fire department and LA County Fire, Orange County Fire, and I do stuff with the forestry, so that's a PA and a siren system. I made this out of wood. This shelf here goes all the way across. I have one light on each side with LED conversion bulbs. This is the control for my strobe lights that I have. And I have all my wiring going through 1-inch pipe all the way across, 1-inch PVC. So it's all nice and neat. No wires are hanging down. I have tweeters here. I have the I forget what brand they are. You got armadillos on them, but they're the aluminum door stops instead of the straps. Let's see, anything else up here? I don't think there's anything else up here. So we come to the back. Here's my air compressor, which you can see this is all rusty. This is a Puma air compressor. It's 2 CFM at 90 PSI. This is a 400 CFM 12 volt electric fan. This is air tank. This is air tank. Spare tire mount. So here's strobes here. LED backups there. So this swings out on that pivot. And there's a stop there. And the brace there for the stop. This is how I have everything wired. There's the ball valve right there so that I could get air to the front. This is a all stainless glycerin filled glass front gauge, and there's that. This is all brass, that way it breaks off and I can repair it easily on the trail if need be. So there is the backside of the air compressor, the switch right there. Here's how it's all wired. And I have one of those little doohickeys there, quick connect. So this is the back. I have put a light up here. There's no battery in it, so none of this stuff is going to work. A motorcycle helmet out of the way there. Okay, so I have 120 power here with an indicator light to tell me that it's on. I have 12 volt power here just for stuff. I got a fire extinguisher there, axe there. My shovel is somewhere. And then I have all my wiring running down there in that tube. So this is how what I used for a lock. And it actually works extremely well. It's stainless. And then that's how that sits up against there. And LED taillights by Grody. And we'll go to the front here. Here's the front. So my stinger, my winch, my aircraft landing lights. There's my air output for the front. Again, stainless, glass front, glycerin filled. And here's my 120 outlet for the front with an indicator light. It's a all-weather indicator light. Here's a single LED for the winch, so I don't have to struggle to hold a flashlight. And yes, I was in an accident, haven't fixed this yet. So in here I have a switch for this LED light right here. I have this for jumper cables, and I have this to indicate to me that the linear actuator for throttle control is activated, and I have a accelerate decelerate switch there. So I'm going to struggle to get this closed with one hand. I have my winch control there, and the switch for that light is actually back under here. You can hear it. I have a power steering cooler, which works amazing. Because the issue that I was having was on some of the roads was I was losing power steering. Anyway, this is AM/FM antenna right here, which is just I forget the name. A fire stick. There we go. Fire stick with a extra heavy duty stainless spring, and it just screws into the base there. And then on the other side I have my CB antenna mount, which is just a quick release. Now this, you can see that, is what I'm going to be using for a transmission cooler. This is a 10-inch fan. This unit is made by Flexolite. So that is going to mount where that and that is at. And you can see the brackets in there already. So I just got to get that done. I have a set of axles in the house for the rear, which is why the transcooler isn't in yet, because the axle seals were just pouring oil, and I didn't want it to clog up the fins on the cooler. So, all right, it's a little messy under the hood here, but I painted the hood white, followed the directions, and you can see what happened. So I have a brand new battery sitting in the house. Upgraded all the charging cables and all that. I have a 150 amp breaker for the alternator because I eliminated the 12 gauge charge cord. That 50 amp breaker right here, that's for the air compressor in the back. This is for the transmission transfer case vents. This is the air cleaner that I have, which I'm not too happy with, but whatever, it works. It got me horsepower I was looking for. There's my Flexolite direct fit fan with a Mishimoto all aluminum radiator. Never overheats now, and it never has fallen on its face since I've done that. They had one guy actually did a study that owned a shop for the Jeeps. When the fan would engage, it would drop 17 horsepower with the fan fully engaged, the fan clutch. So that's why I went with an electric fan. Here's the linear actuator I was talking about. So when it actuates, it just pushes directly on the butterfly. So that's that. And this was a front axle oil catch can that I was using because it would spray all up under here when I was off-roading and spinning tires. This is my Speedo healer because I had to get this to do the correction for the speed. That's a fuse for the controller, or for the throttle control. And here's a fuse block. I'm going to clean all this wiring up now that I'm not everyday driving this thing. But here's my fuse block for everything. I have 2 aircraft landing lights. They're rated 100 watts at 13 volts. And you could actually see the shields so it doesn't blind the pilot. I believe that's everything that I've got here. I have plugs up in there to where they're small twist lock. So you just twist it and pop it out, and the whole bumper just pulls right off. Because if you see how the wire runs along there and just pops right in there, so the whole bumper just pops right off without having to take a whole lot of shit off. But yeah, that's basically. Oh, I got a flow cooler aluminum water pump because the stock water pump was bad, so I just went with a flow cooler. And I got a throttle body spacer, and here's the DEI foil kit, and it wraps around each injector. And those are new injectors out of a Ford Mustang. They're 4-hole 24-pound injectors, and I noticed on average a 2 mile per gallon increase in mileage. My highest was 4 miles per gallon, and my lowest was 2. But the way I drive it, it's 2 is the best I'm getting. So The other thing is, too, at 105,000 miles, the transmission was rebuilt. And a Transgo shift kit was installed. And if I would have known that Sonnax, Sonnax, made all the parts that they make, I would have gone with one of their valve bodies. And I would have just popped in one of their valve bodies and been done with it. But this was one of the very last things that my dad welded on before he got really sick and passed away. I actually have the very last thing. This was the very last thing that he made for me, which was an exhaust mount so that the exhaust wouldn't droop, because the issue that I was having with the stock exhaust was that this piece that's right here, right there, right behind the brake line right there, would drop down. So I had that clamp bolted to the side of the block, and that helped keep it up, and it would always bang on that arm right there. So, the door lights I was telling you about are right there. There's one on each side. So it illuminates the ground when you open the door. But yeah, I love this thing. I really don't want to get rid of it. It's going to cost about $3,000 to get it back on the road. This is where I had my exhaust come out of the side. It's now extended into the back here with the stock exhaust back on it. But it's going to come back out the side once I get the money flowing. But yeah, I love the thing. Thanks for watching.